Today's assembly is on the theme of kindness. When we set about reframing our school vision and values last year, we decided to include kindness as one of the 6 core principles on which we run our school. But what does it mean for us, and how does it impact our everyday lives? Kindness is a word we hear all the time, and we can hear it without really listening properly. So I think it's worth looking afresh at kindness and what it means to live with it as part of our school community. When I was researching this for another assembly a few years ago, I noticed a foundation set up in the United States in 1995 called the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation. They described their mission as to inspire people to practice kindness and to pass it on to others. They set up a Random Acts of Kindness Week, which takes place in February every year, and also a World Kindness Day in November. It seems a slightly odd thing to have a day for being kind, as if we can just get it done on that one day and we're sorted for the year. Surely it ought to be something that's part of our everyday lives. But maybe we do need reminding now and again of the importance of kindness to the people around us and the powerful effect that a simple act of kindness can have. I'd like to give you a couple of examples, and I want to base them around the experiences that we've all shared and witnessed in the last couple of years. At the end of 2019, we heard about a new virus that had started spreading, first in China and then very rapidly across different countries of the world. We watched as it travelled to Europe and beyond, and saw how countries reacted, including shutting themselves down so that people couldn't leave their homes or travel, or to try and limit the spread of the disease. We had no idea at that point what was ahead of us. In March 2020, the UK government decided that we should go into lockdown too, and schools were shut. At the same time, we were all told that we had to stay at home. I remember a conversation with another member of staff then, in which we wondered if schools might be closed even up until the Easter holiday, a whole 3 weeks. I wonder what that conversation might have been like if we'd known that we wouldn't see most of our students, you, for months, and that we would all go through an extended period of isolation. This separation from our friends, often from family members as well, was difficult for everyone. But it was often most difficult for people who lived alone or were vulnerable in other ways, either because they're elderly or suffering from another condition that made COVID particularly risky for them, or they weren't well enough to understand why they couldn't see their family and friends. These people needed kindness from their neighbours and other members of society even more than the rest of us did. Examples of kindness inspiration weren't hard to find during those hardest months of the pandemic, and perhaps the best known of these was found in the unlikely shape of a 99-year-old veteran, Captain Tom Moore. Captain Tom decided that he wanted to try and raise £1,000 for the NHS as a thank you to all those working on what we came to call the front line, for their courage and their kindness to those in need. The story got some media attention and it really took off. People started donating, not just in this country, but from all over the world. And in the end, he raised more than £38.9 million. He was knighted by the Queen, and after he passed away earlier this year, his family set up a foundation from which they support charities and causes that were close to his heart. From one simple act of charity and kindness, the impact was and continues to be immense. However, you don't need to look at the most famous people to find examples of people who acted with kindness during COVID. This first note was from one neighbour to another offering to do their shopping and errands so that the older person wouldn't have to go out when they were more vulnerable. Some people dusted off their sewing machines to make and donate scrubs or masks to people working in hospitals or care homes. Some others were hard hit financially, or they weren't able to get out to get proper food. Communities came together to assemble food boxes and deliver them to those in need. And lots of us simply checked in on our neighbours and friends more than we'd done before. This last picture shows a note from an older lady asking if anyone had any books or videos she might watch as she was at home on her own. The second note is a thank you for all the many donations she received and a promise to pass them all along so that others could also benefit. This is another example of the knock-on effect of a simple act of kindness. These often have a domino or ripple effect, which can change not just one person's life, but also those of many others. That final picture in the top right-hand corner is by the artist Banksy. It shows a child playing with a superhero figure, but if you look carefully, you can see that his regular superheroes are abandoned in favour of the figure of a nurse. For a little while, we recognise that those people showing courage and kindness really are superheroes, and we remember to value them properly. But kindness isn't just good for other people, it's good for us as well. Research has shown that performing acts of kindness gives people a chemical high. Oxytocin is released, which helps to lower blood pressure and improve heart health. Oxytocin also increases self-esteem and optimism. Kindness stimulates the production of serotonin. This feel-good chemical heals wounds, calms us down and makes us feel happier. Research has shown that people who engage in acts of kindness feel stronger and more energetic after helping others. And studies of happiness have shown that altruistic people who give donations to charity are the happiest overall. So, what is altruism? Altruism is when somebody does something good or kind to or for someone else without expecting or getting anything in return. It can be as simple as helping push someone's car when it's failed to start, or something as life-changing as deciding to become an organ donor, something that can't possibly benefit us as individuals, but which will allow somebody else to live if we die unexpectedly. In a sporting arena, some of us will remember seeing Alistair Brownlee give up his chance of a World Triathlon Series gold medal in 2016 to help his brother, who was struggling and in danger of collapsing, to cross the line. Or staying with sportsmen, we can all remember the campaign led by Marcus Rashford to ensure that all children entitled to free school meals continued to get them during lockdown and over the summer holidays. A campaign of kindness that forced the government to change its mind and had a clear and measurable impact on lots of young people. Kindness is part of all major world traditions and cultures. Take a moment to look at a couple of these quotes from great thinkers of the past, whose words still influence us now in the present. Look at what they have in common. They all tell us that how we look out for each other is one of the most important things we ever do. As a school community, we practice kindness in many ways. Our school code of conduct tells us that we expect courtesy and kindness as part of how we treat each other. We also perform collective acts of kindness. Every year we raise money for comic relief or sport relief by donating money and performing music in the town centre. We hold non-uniform days to collect funds. We run a Christmas market. These are all collective acts of kindness. But what can we do as individuals? There are many ways in which we can show kindness to others in our everyday lives. Sharing, donating, volunteering or assisting others are just a few of them. One of the most effective things we can do is to consider how we speak to others. Words are powerful things and can either make others feel good about themselves or can hurt them. So thinking before we speak can be an effective act of kindness. If we're not sure whether we should say something, try using this to help. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it actually kind? My final thought for this morning is to think about arguing and fighting back against those who tell us that we as individuals can't really change anything. I spoke a few minutes ago about the domino or ripple effect, how a simple act of kindness like that of Captain Tom Moore can have a huge and lasting effect. Look at these amazing words from Bishop Desmond Tutu, written in the heart of his crusade against injustice in South Africa. Remember that even doing just one tiny act of kindness can change your world and the world around you. Thank you for watching.